Hey, what's going on, guys? Ryan here with your Clash of the Champions review. It is just concluded. Quick thoughts about the show overall. I thought this was far better wrestling than I was expecting. The hype level going into this pay-per-view was pretty low. The excitement in general for Raw has been a problem over SmackDown, where it's just a little bit more refreshing to watch. That being said, I really feel like almost everyone on the roster really stepped up tonight to deliver on matches, and just really some of the endings might have been what threw some people off or just made this pay-per-view disappointing. Before I've talked about times where really the great formula for pay-per-view is to have some solid wrestling and then something to hook you at the end to leave you wanting more and to watch Raw the next night. Just going through the card real quickly. Alicia Fox versus Nia Jax. Unsurprisingly, Nia Jax gets the win on the pre-show. We opened the show with the tag team contest where the New Day defeated the club, or Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. I think this was a big surprise and disappointment for a lot of people. Nothing against the New Day, but really, if they want to have legitimate threats to the New Day, I felt that it was more than time for another team to get the titles, and really Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, if you want to establish them as a real force in the tag division, I felt that this was very much a crucial match for them. So I was pretty disappointed to see a loss there. Of course, we had the Cruiserweight Classic. The Cruiserweight title match, I should say, not the Cruiserweight Classic. TJ Perkins defeated the Brian Kendrick, which I pretty much expected, and I thought this was a good match. Interestingly, I don't think Keith and Juan, who watched the CWC, keep in mind I have not caught up on it, they were a little disappointed by this. I thought the match was just fine, but I could tell there's a lot of people who were just blown away by the CWC, and this wasn't on that same level for a lot of them, so I could see why there would be some disappointment there. Of course, the Best of 7 series was supposed to conclude, and it ends up in a no contest in the final match, where, so we really don't know what's going to come of this. I'm very curious if this was the planned ending. I'm going to assume it was. I'm just really surprised that they felt the need to drag this out. I think everyone felt that this was it was time that it would be concluded. And Cesaro took some nasty landings, especially diving out through the ropes, which, I mean, these suicide dives, we get so many of these every single pay-per-view, and I really think that it's diminishing returns. Like, it's really not even worth it. And people just, I mean, we've seen it a billion times. It's not worth the risk to have in pretty much every single match throughout the entire night. Cesaro really takes a very nasty landing on his head. And then there's later on in the match, there's a clothesline. Cesaro clotheslines Sheamus over the barricade to the outside, and they just call the match. And it looked like Cesaro may have landed on his head, although in the replay there's a chance he landed fine. But regardless, they called the match off, and I'm very curious what if this was planned or not. It was hard to tell. Part of me thinks that they wanted to end the match because of maybe Cesaro was experiencing some issues. I'm not quite sure, but so there could be more behind this than I know. Regardless, I thought these guys really pulled out all the stops in this match, and we'll have to see what happens on Raw with this, because you can't really end it like this, right? Next, talking about Sami Zayn versus Chris Jericho. I might be a little out of order in the matchings. The thing I'm listing it in has it in the wrong order, so forgive me if I get some of these jumbled up. Sami Zayn versus Chris Jericho, I thought was a great match. Good to see Chris Jericho win here. I think this should be a multi-match feud, so I like that Jericho's getting the first win in this, and I just want to see Sami Zayn pull out one win, even if they do 3 matches. I just like to see Sami get one of the wins. He's always good as the underdog, and this was a very fun match. Moving into the women's match, I pretty much expected Charlotte to retain here. I thought this was a fine match. Charlotte, it just seems, if you're going to give it the title back to Charlotte, it seems kind of dumb to keep flipping it around. It's just unfortunate what happened with Sasha where she had to lose the title earlier. But I think you keep the belt on Charlotte until Survivor Series or so, or Hell in a Cell or whatever, before you give it up. I'm interested to see if this three-way feud's going to continue, or we're gonna or Sasha's gonna kind of get her one-on-one feud continuing with Charlotte. But excited to see where that goes. Next up, we have Rusev versus Roman Reigns. Another good match. And hey, I didn't expect this. I really thought they would pull some shenanigans. Which there were. Lana got barred from ringside for pulling the referee out of the ring. But nevertheless, Roman Reigns is still able to get the win and become United States champion. So they're really committing to Roman Reigns not being in the main title picture for quite a while, it would seem. If they're going to give Roman Reigns the United States title, I don't expect that they want to pull it off of him anytime soon. So we will have to see where that goes, which is something I feel like I keep saying, but couple of question marks left at the end of this, which I guess is some of that intrigue I was talking about, but really not that captivating intrigue I was talking about. Now, main event, we had Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins, and I thought this was a fantastic match. These guys went all out. It was really a hell of a brawl. Announce table breaking, of course. And the ending was really kind of questionable. For such a fantastic match, I was a little disappointed by the ending. I, for one, with Kevin Owens being a heel, am not disappointed that it wasn't a clean finish. That's really not the sticking point for me. Because you know what, heels, if they cheat to win, whatever. Obviously, Chris Jericho was getting involved. There was ref bumps and things like that. I was just a little disappointed that Triple H did not show in any way, and I for one have felt that, Triple H didn't need to show up at Raw or even the next 2 or 3 Raws, but I do feel like his presence should have been felt at this show in kind of keeping that storyline going. They could really be throwing Triple H on the back burner for a very long time, because they're not ready to do the Seth Rollins Triple H match. But it just kind of felt dull to end it this way instead. Nevertheless, a card full of very solid wrestling. Just nothing to really get the buzz going or anything like that. But still a solid show. So make sure to let me know what you guys thought in the comments below about Clash of Champions. We have our 1 to 4 scale. I would give this show if I have to commit to 1 through 4, I would give it a 3, but that's a very generous 3, because it didn't exactly blow me away in any way, but it was a very, very solid show. So let me know what you guys thought. What was your favorite match? And any other thoughts you had on the show, and if you're looking forward to Raw or not. And hey, we got plenty of other videos out there as well, if you'd like to check those out. And if you want to go the extra mile in supporting us on this YouTube channel and on our podcast on iTunes, then you can head over to patreon.com/Byte That. There are cool perks and rewards. We're trying to hit certain goals, including 12-hour wrestling video game streams, as well as making our podcast go into video so you can see our beautiful faces like you're seeing mine right now. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure to check out our thoughts, our full thoughts, Keith and Juan's thoughts on this pay-per-view, as well as all of our thoughts on Raw on the podcast this coming Wednesday. We are on Wednesdays now to cover both Raw and SmackDown, as well as Clash of Champions that just concluded. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.